Waithaka.
Excellent. So, hi.
This is Joanne. Godfrey is with us in the room. Just give me a
Excellent.
minute for us to make
Yes.
sure that we have made him a panelist. He
Yes,
was
please.
initially unable to unmute. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to find his name to... Malvin,
There's
you can
no
assist
problem.
me with that as well, yeah? If you are able to see his name, Godfrey Bukomeko, kindly make him a panelist. I'm trying to do the same.
Gee, there he is. The problem, we were looking for Godfrey. And
Oh.
there we go. It is the full name. Very good. Very good. So Godfrey, on your machine, kindly accept the invitation to join us as panelists. Excellent, excellent, excellent. As I said, over the next 12 weeks, we're going to be learning how to manage our money and our debt, to be able to invest and work to protect our money, and to design a 5-year financial plan starting on the 23rd of September. So you have time to prepare and get there. And we have goodies for you, ladies and gentlemen. Usually you would register for the class at 45,000 shillings. But today, because you have given us your time, we have committed ourselves to give back. And so today you get 15,000 shillings off your registration, only to register at 30,000 today because you have shown up for the open day. Excellent, excellent. So Godfrey, I'm just waiting for you to have your camera on, your mic on, and then we can be able to move on from there. As I said, these are the 12 modules that you'll go through: personal money management, time value of money, debt management, living abundantly, investment. And I know those are the classes that you want to come in. And this is, let me just say this, let me be very clear. Most people want to learn about investments, but they don't even have the money to invest. So first we have to set up the goals and the ideas that we have, and then we get into those investments. Then we talk about, and that's treasury bills, bonds, unit trusts, collective investments, so that we understand them. Then we talk about real estate, and we talk and I know in Africa, hello, my fellow Africans, land and ownership of property is a big deal to us, isn't it? Stocks, understanding the stock exchange, so that we have a good broad perspective on investments. Insurance, so that we understand it. Estate planning, taxes, and then we put all that into a financial plan. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a notebook in front of you right now, because right now we're about to get some wonderful insights. Godfrey, good to have you here. You're more than welcome. Everyone is ready to listen to you and to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much. Guys, put your hands together for Godfrey Bukomeko as he shares from his experience as an investment expert.
Thanks, Waithaka. And good morning, everyone. Good morning, Uganda. My name is Godfrey Bukomeko. I'm very glad and happy to be here, happy to share my investment experience with you, and hope you can have some few carryaways as you get to partner with Centonomy on the journey to financial well-being and powering your wealth. Yes. So with Old Mutual, I work as the portfolio manager within the investments unit. And firstly, I'll say this. When it comes to investments, when it comes to wealth, what you measure is what you get to achieve. What you don't measure, you're never going to achieve. So it's very important and very, very critical that as you take on this journey, as you get to really partner with Centonomy, so you can get to know what you need to learn in terms of measuring your journey on your way to building your financial well-being. I'll give you a story, a very interesting story here that I went through. So when I was younger, just out of university, I had a case of, you have no job yet, you are doing a little business here, a few side hustles, so your income is quite unstable. So at the time, I'm having a chat with a colleague of mine, and I tell them I have a target. I want to save this much money within a year, but I do not have a stable income source. So he tells me, okay, what you need to do is join our savings group. We're going to give you a loan, and that loan is going to buy your membership into the group. But we're going to give you 1 year to pay off that loan. and that loan will be carried at a small interest. I believe at the time it was about 10% for that particular year. And what he needed me to achieve was that particular goal at the end of the year, but in form of membership in that particular group. And I recall it was about 10 million shillings at the time, which at the time was quite a significant amount of money. Even now it is. But I started with about 150,000 shillings. That's what I actually gave the group to get in and then be registered as a member, get the loan. And then that loan went towards membership into the investment pool of that particular group. And I used to pay at some point in amounts of 20,000 shillings, sometimes 50, sometimes 100. But as and when I got money, I would just apportion over close to between 60 and 70% of it to that particular group, send on their mobile money merchant collection account. By the time we got to midway the year, there about July, I'd actually finished paying off the 10 million plus the interest, which was very surprising for me. So that clearly showed me that, you see, if you're going to really wake up one day and be financially well off, be financially safe and secure, you do not need to actually have a stable job, a stable income, or have a very large payday in your lifetime. You know, on the streets of Kampala, most people are trying to look out for a deal. Most people are trying to look out for a tender. Most people are trying to look out for something that can really get them a rainy day and a major rainy day. So if I could do this at a 10 million level, we then came to when I was having a chat with him, we came to a conclusion that, you know what, the pathway to actual financial well-being is going to have a few characteristics. And this is what we settled on, that it's going to be it's going to be boring. Well, you know, boring is a sense that you're going to do the exact same thing. You're not going to have to re-engineer this. It doesn't take you being a rocket scientist. It doesn't take you being a math genius to really figure it out. So it's going to be boring. It's going to be repetitive. And repetitive in the sense that every other time I would get money, I would have to apportion 60 to 70% to paying off that particular 10 million. So it was just a constant habit. So the creation of that financial habit went a long way in enabling me to actually save up that 10 million. And it's going to be slow. Now, slow just speaks to the unpredictable or uncertain nature of income streams. So you find that and this uncertainty comes both from the angle of the income streams and also the angle of the challenges that we face in our daily lives. So you do not know when you're going to fall sick and probably need to pay some money to the hospital. You do not know when a friend of yours, a sister, a loved one, anyone is going to come to you for some support. And at that point, that could get to slow you from your journey. But if you can go through that process, that slow, boring, and repetitive process, you will find that getting to this actual wellness is very, very easy. We, by the way, took an example, a case study of just for Waithaka's knowledge. We have a whole bunch of Ugandans who are quite wealthy in business who did not do much school. So we took a study into what they do right in terms of in terms of their money habits to actually be able to own vast chunks or portions or shares of the real estate market in Kampala. And you find that one of the things we found was these guys identify a business, they take years understanding it, they stay in it, however shabby it looks, they stick to that business. But the moment they start making money, they do not adjust their lifestyles. They live the same life. We found them to be misers in terms of their daily money habits. They stay, they live the same boring lives, and they keep saving money, and they only put money towards accumulation of assets or accumulation of capital in their business. So what we got, actually, another colleague of mine, right from that study, who was in business, you know, corporate people, we think different from business people. So corporate people would like to have a weekend where you're going on vacation sometimes in a year, other times you are eating at a high-end restaurant and all this. You see, the money adds up. The little money adds up. Once you start, and now I'm going to speak into budgeting. Once you start to really track your money, once you start to measure where your money goes, two things are going to happen. One, you're going to be quite surprised at how much money you spend on consumption and consumption of not on the basic needs, but on the luxury aspects of life. Now, once you start to track that and start to scale backwards on the luxury consumption, now luxury is really not standard for everyone, but luxury is standard. Luxury is luxury in the sense that if it's a birthday, you can go eat food at CJ's, that's fine. But if you're going to eat CJ's, say, four or 5 times a week, that is luxury. If you're going to, say, move around Kampala and you could use a border and you choose to use Ubers the whole day and you go to 5 different destinations or locations within the city, that is luxury. So it seems to be little, but if you keep tracking this money, it's going to add up significantly. Now, the second thing that is going to happen is as you're scaling back this, you're going to be awakened to how you need to diversify your income. So what does this mean? In most cases, when people are budgeting, when people are tracking their money, they track the outflow. They rarely track the inflow. Now, here's what I mean by inflow, and this is what I realized in that period from the starting of actually that group. I joined it late December after Christmas. So between that date and July, when I paid off the 10 million, I realized something. I knew what I was earning from the small side hustle, but I did not know how much I was earning from the one-off gigs I would do. Yes, say your auntie calls you and asks you to drive her around for the weekend. You drive around for the weekend, she gives you 80,000 shillings as a send-off as you're going home. Now, you don't consider that income because you're a young man and it's a weekend and you've gotten 80,000. The next thing you do is you just go and consume it. You have a few beers. Now, the challenge was I wasn't tracking all that extra income. Yes, someone calls you and asks you, okay, can you help me do some market rounds? You go shop for them, and then at the end of the day, you make a difference of maybe 100,000. But you're not tracking that income because it's not from your traditional or from your set income streams. Yes, say you get a gift from your sister, or from a friend, and you realize quickly that okay, there's actually a lot of money that flows through our hands that we just do not get to track that income. Once you track that income along with the outflows, you find that your journey to that to building a financial powerhouse is going to be very, very well, it will be sooner than you think. And at some point it will become a lot more enjoyable because the challenge with everyone else is discipline. Now, as we go through this day, you have to remember this. Many people attend these sessions, the trainings, the conferences, and all the other programs that are put in place. The only way you're going to benefit from this is if you take immediate action. Once you get a delay in your actioning, you're going to find that the knowledge is going to really phase out of your mind. You know, they used to tell us in school that what you hear, you forget. What you do, you will remember. So every time we're done with class, the next task was go find 2-3 numbers, practice on those numbers, then you can go play football. Because ideally, now that you've practiced it and you've done it, you're going to actually have it's going to get into your cognitive mind, and you're going to be able to apply it and remember it the next time when you get that challenge. So even out of this, you need to make sure that you walk away ready to action it, to make that call, and you don't need to have a lot of money to begin. You just do the registration, start the journey, start getting the knowledge, and then absorb it. I could see that Centonomy is going to educate you about the investment universe, the products out there. You see, a lot of people, when they listen to these particular products, well, there has been some progress in the market with the unit trust. There's been some progress in the market with the bonds and the treasuries in terms of knowledge being dissipated and moving out there. But you see, there is if you're 10 friends and you all read the newspaper every day, you will assume that the whole Kampala is literate. The whole Kampala is well informed about what's happening, say in the political space or what's happening in the business space, simply because in your universe, everyone is actually informed because everyone reads the newspaper every day. Even though this information about treasuries, about bonds, about unit trusts and financial and other financial products has been spread significantly within Kampala, still there is an over 90% portion of the population that considers this to be complex, that considers this to be not easy to do. However, you'll find that if you still consider this complex, if I try to walk you through a treasury, a bond, a unit trust, the time I try to explain it to you, you will appreciate that, okay, there is a return here. It is risk-free. Okay, I need to diversify away from, say, my job and create a side hustle and get some income and then put into this and then get to build my wealth. But until you do it, you're not going to really appreciate it. And some of these products have as low as 100,000 shilling in terms of what you need to hold as an investment to qualify to participate. So you do not have to wait for a long time, and you just have to take you just have to take it at the action point. Now, it's not all good. I've had scenarios, and now I'm going to speak about debt. Yes. So a few months later, I get a job. I join the bank, and like all bankers, you need to drive a car. You need to show some people that you're a banker. Banker equals money. Yes. So so quickly at the time, I take a loan. So I felt a bit sharp. So I said, okay, let me take the loan, but not for buying a car. Let me take a loan to just complement my savings and then try to do the car business. Maybe as I import the cars, then I will be able to at some point earn a profit to own my own. Now, first, I didn't research the business so much. I just took it to be an obvious business. You import a car, you go to be forward, SBT, Japan, you import, you bring. I did not know all the other logistics and gymnastics that comes with car importation. So I get a loan from the bank. I put about 80% of it into the car import business. So I wanted to import one unit. 20%, of course, I diverted to consumption. Now, that was the first problem. I diverted 20% of that money to consumption. Now, then the other amount that I put in car importation, the car which had to arrive in.
What is consumption? You're using technical terms. What do you mean by what did you do? Tell us.
Okay. At the time, I was holding a BlackBerry phone, and I needed to transition to an iPhone. That was actually the main purchase. So I bought the flagship iPhone at that time. You see, like how the 17 has come out, I bought it right at release.
You see, Godfrey, now we understand iPhone. We don't understand consumption. Thank you. Continue.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I also went ahead and changed my wardrobe because I wanted to look like a banker. So I bought a few suits, a few khaki trousers, nice gentle shoes. I look like a premium guy. And then the car which had to come in 1 month and a half took 12 months. 12 months, some police getting involved, me putting in a lot of my other savings. And by the time it came, I was probably salvaging about 50% of the money invested. Now, at that point, that's when I realized that, you see, and I coined this, I got to understand the compounding aspect of debt, because I was paying debt for a 12-month period while not getting the benefit of that actual debt. Yes. And this debt now was taking away about 40% of my paycheck. So at some point I did the math, and I was paying 40% in debt I was paying another 40% in rent and house related activities in terms of yaka and water bills and all that. And ideally, I was living on 20% of my income. So I needed to make a call. But before making that call, I went to the head of HR for the bank and asked them, okay, I'm in this fix, but I want to understand how many other people are in a similar fix and like I am. So that I can consult these people, see how they're coming out of it, so I can also use that way to come out of it. I thought you'd tell me, okay, there are about other 10 people in the bank in a similar fix because you can see the way the staff debt and all that. He told me, no, 95% of the stuff you see are cooked. They are gone to the drums. They are all depending. So what happens is when you're living in such a scenario, so you may be taking home, say 2 million shillings. But if 80% of that money is going to debt and shelter, what's going to happen is every 3-4 months, you're going to come to HR and ask for an advance. Now, the bank did something at the time. They said for staff, we're going to pre-approve your advance. So when you log into your account, you will see that you're pre-approved for a 1 million loan for 1 month. So anytime during the month when you get stuck, you can just click and immediately the money credits on your account. Very interesting innovation from the banking side, very bad from the 95% of us who are already in a fix. Because now you had even an unsecured line, an additional unsecured line to add on to your problems. So I took that one time around December in that period, and I had to pay it off in January. And you see, it's automatically debited. It's removed before you even touch that money in your account. I remember my salary that month was 111 shillings after all deductions. Now that's when I knew that, okay, this is going to be so bad. I sold off the car that I had salvaged, paid down 50% of that loan, and hustled with the balance of that loan for 5 years. Since then, I haven't borrowed again. So you see, it is important that and this happens to the best of us. So even when I'm speaking about bankers who, at the time I was working in global markets, meaning I was working with people who understood all the complexities of investments. They knew how to build wealth, who were advising clients, who were getting them to get financially better, and we ourselves were drowning deeper. 95% of us, and he mentioned that of the 5%, about 80% was still new, so they're just not yet qualified for the bank to lend them, because you had to first go through probation, get confirmed, and then afterwards you can be able to access those lines of credit. So as you go through life, you have to make sure as you're driving forward, you must keep abreast or keep yourself informed of the nature of debt in your life, to make sure that debt is productive and is not going to actually take more than 10-15% of your income in terms of servicing it. Because the moment it exceeds that level, it will quickly accumulate from 10-15% to over 50%. You've seen this when you listen to economists discussing what's happening to the government in Uganda, in Kenya. They tell you debt service is 31% of Uganda's revenue. And then you're thinking to yourself, how did we get here when just about 15 years ago we were way back to zero? Same thing happens in our personal lives. So because you see, the government is human beings running it, the same mistakes we are making are the same mistakes they're making in their personal lives, and therefore the same mistakes they'll make in the offices they carry. But in your personal life, you can actually save yourself. Yeah. There you don't, we have this statement of government etuyambe, government come to help us. Oh. Here you don't need government to help you. You can actually solve this problem yourself. Now, I'd like to then also state two other things.
One, because we're trying to recover time now. Yep.
Yes. Two other things. One, there's a need for you. It's important for you to differentiate between your needs and your wants. You need to create habits around your needs and forget about the wants. There are many things you can do without. There are many things that you can wait until when you're at the surplus point in your financial journey to be able to get. For example, you don't need to change a phone every year on release date, just like I wanted to. Things like that. You don't need to eat out maybe more than once or twice a month. You don't need to do a couple of those other things, and yet you can still live a life that is good and then the uncomfortable and above average. And then lastly, you need to manage your money like a boss. You need to manage your money like how your companies do it. You need to have a budget, stick to it, and all the money you get, make sure you invest it. The money that you put in your bank account as savings is not actually investment. It is procrastinated expenditure. Because once it sits in your account, you're going to wake up one day, someone will call you and they need support. That money is right at your beck and call. It's easy for you to access. So you will access it and give it away. So it is procrastinated expenditure. Invest what you're calling savings. Thank you.
Come on, guys, put your hands together for Godfrey. It's not easy to share. Please, it's not easy to share your stories like that. And I love the honesty. Especially for people who are in the financial industry, to be able to share an experience like that means everyone feels like they're not abnormal. But what you're able to say is that you are able to grow and build out of it. Some people here were very worried about how did you survive that month with 100 shillings in your pocket. We really appreciate that. Just some quick highlights so that we get them. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, what Godfrey was saying was, if you don't mind, let me just, sorry, I need to adjust something here. Good, there we go. What Godfrey was talking about when he said to do the boring, repetitive process, why? Why would I choose to do the boring, repetitive process? What would more, if it's boring and repetitive, why should I make that effort? So can someone please type in the chat box, why would you make the boring, repetitive process work for you? Why? And if you're willing enough, you can also raise your hand. I might give you an opportunity to speak so that we can hear. Why would I choose the boring, repetitive process for my investment? What is the motivation behind it? What's the motivation? I like that, to break a pattern. Okay, very relatable. So goal implementation, consistency. Friends. Let me help you with this. That is thank you so much, Charity. Because you know the outcome. It's not discipline for the sake of discipline does not help anything. Discipline towards an outcome is what changes everything. So in Centonomy, we're never going to tell you that you can't go on holiday. We're never going to tell you that you shouldn't go and eat at CJ's. The reason that you're not going to eat at CJ's every day this week is so that you can be able to go on holiday at the end of the year. So there was a reason, there was an outcome that you are aiming for. Otherwise, that saving means nothing. Saving for the sake of saving means nothing. How many of you want to be financially free? If financial freedom is what you're looking for, then you apply consistency, grit, and discipline. It is the why that gives you the motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is like an athlete. Have you seen, Mrs. Abala, have you seen athletes running every day? Doing it. Come on now, East African runners, Kenyans, Ugandans are known for running marathons, 10,000 meters. You see them running every day, waking up when nobody else is waking up. Why? Because there's a race they want to win. And if they don't apply themselves in that period of time, if they don't put in the effort right now, they can't win that race. But waking up every day just to run means nothing. So, as Kizito Moses is saying in the chat box, they are willing to pay the short-term price for the long-term gain. So what is that long-term gain that you want? If you want to be like Godfrey and be able to buy an iPhone every year, make the choice. So in the Centonomy program, we tell you to put together a budget, ladies and gentlemen, and in that budget, put all the things you want. Because the things you want will give you the motivation to do the things you have to do. If I want to upgrade my phone every year, like Godfrey said, I put in it in my budget, and so I save and I invest, and I think the iPhone 17 has just come out this week. Next year in September, 18 will be out. Can I prepare for that day? Yes. And that's what we're looking for. Godfrey, one more thing, if you don't mind, before you disappear. I want to use you as an example. How much did you borrow for that car, Godfrey, if you don't mind? Are you still in the room?
Actually, at the time, I took a total loan of 32 million shillings.
Let's do it together so people can see the truth, Godfrey. You took 32 million shillings?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. What was the interest rate at that time?
The staff rate was 11.5.
11.5%. How many years did you take it for?
It was for 5 years.
You see, I was even ready with the 5 years. So ladies and gentlemen, can you see that on the screen there? We are looking at a real loan. This is a real one. Okay. You borrow 32 million, 11.5 for 5 years. Godfrey, does this look like the amount you are paying every month? Is it similar?
Yes, it is. That was before the penalties. After a few defaults, it got to close to 800. But that was the initial.
But this was the amount. So look at that. It's 700,000 every month for 60 months. But Godfrey, this is the number people don't pay attention to. Hello, everybody. And this is one of the tools that you're going to receive in the Centonomy 101 program. So you can understand how debt works. We don't want you to be fearful of debt. We want you to understand how it works so you make good choices. So for 60 months, this is the number that, ladies and gentlemen, they didn't pay attention to. Godfrey, before penalties, was going to pay, look at this number in the chat box, 10.2 million in interest alone. That is interest. So how much did Godfrey pay for this car in total? Please, in the chat box, what was his total cost for this car? Can you see it there? He borrowed this and he paid interest of this. Do you now understand why you need to understand debt? Can you see it? Can you see it, ladies and gentlemen? So we are trying to get you this information so you can make good choices. Now, is the car a bad thing? No, ladies and gentlemen, the car is not a bad thing. But how we work around to make sure that we are using debt for growth, this is what we are talking about, so that we're able to achieve our goals. Godfrey, God bless you. Thank you so much for sharing. We really appreciate you. The learning continues today. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm so excited to invite our next speaker for the day. We are so happy to invite in this room CPA Charity Kentaro, who is a financial practitioner and mentor. And I am so glad because she is also an alumni of the Centonomy 101 program. Is Charity in the room? I'm not seeing her as part of the team. Joanne, can you let me know? Sorry, I announced before checking. Yes, there you are. Charity, I can see you there. If you can just join us as a panelist. There we go. Now you have the freedom to switch on your microphone and to switch on your camera as well. Charity, are you ready? We want to hear from your experiences, Charity. Hi.
Confirm that you can hear me.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Okay, I think there you are.
There. Oh. Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Waithaka.
Did you hear Godfrey's story?
Yes, yes. Some parts I relate with.
I think your camera is blocked. You need to unblock manually at the top there, maybe. There we are. There you go. Excellent. Very good. Charity, tell us the truth, just like Godfrey told us the truth. We want the truth.
Thank you. And I'm ready with the truth. How are you, everyone on the call?
Very good, thank you.
Good to be here. It's a bright morning. A lot of people that we can't see, but we know that you're there. So mine is very easy this morning, is to speak to my journey with Centonomy. I can say categorically that I don't have a financial journey without Centonomy.
Charity, do you mind moving a little bit closer? The mic is not as loud. We're not hearing you very clearly.
Is
The
that
volume
better?
is a bit low.
Okay, give me a minute.
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Keep trying so that start up and then I'll let you know if it's too low.
Is that better?
Keep speaking so that we can hear.
Okay.
Much better. Yes. Thank you. God.
So I'll share my screen again. Okay. All right. Yes. So I was saying I don't have a financial journey without Centonomy. To introduce myself, my name's Charity Kentaro Mugaya, just like Waithaka has introduced me. By profession, I am a certified public accountant. Over my years of work, I have worked in areas of audit, finance and accounting, assurance, and tax management. Currently, I am the Senior Finance Manager at Impact Water Foundation. I know that some of my friends are there. They said we will log in at 8 o'clock just to tease me. I'm also a mentor with TAZA International Uganda, and I am their lead mentor. I am also a board chairperson of Beulah Investment Circle. I've been married. I make 12 years this year, and maybe I'm going over myself. Have two handsome boys, quite inspiring, and they're part of my why. So my story, actually, my finance journey story starts on my first job. And my first job was an audit role. And what we'd do is that we'd go from one organization to the other, just doing work in matters of internal audit and external audit. But one client in particular, I think for me was my point to change. His name was Monaku Kama. I still remember that really clearly because his name Waithaka in translated English means poverty is whispered. And this gentleman, in his creditors list, for those that follow your accounting, had over 1 billion unpaid, which I thought to myself, that's an odd number. The other thing about this gentleman is that he was very uneducated, could not speak the English that most of you people speak. And I wondered, how is that possible? And I know Godfrey made my work easy this morning. He spoke about that category of people. But for me, I related his inability to be educated with the fact that, oh, the journey then is easy. I'm just going to be as rich as he is. I'm going to have all these buildings. And at the time he called us in to support him, he was, his building was being taken over. So that's why he came to us. And I got interested in this gentleman. And I thought to myself, how does he do it? It must be easy because I'm educated. And I can tell you that sparked the journey of my financial quest. And as you see, and as you have been told, matters of wealth have nothing to do with your finances. You can see Godfrey was a banker, but only could live with 100,000. And all of us are like that. Some months are good, some months are bad. And that, of course, took me to the internet because I come from a family of professionals. So I could not relate or even ask people near me in my family about matters of entrepreneurship. How do they make this wealth that's abnormal? So that started my journey. And I thought this morning I would share with you pictures of where I grinned. 11 years ago, that was my first experience. Caroline Motoko speaking about finances on an open day. Waceke went on. But the one that I found the most pivotal is the one that's talking about changing my thinking about money. I understood time value of money. I understood that what I can afford today, I'm probably not going to afford next year should I not do anything about it. So my journey started. Of course, I continued to follow, and you can see all these amazing people that over the years I have listened to. And they speak debt, what happened, they speak your income, not necessarily being the decisive factor to whether you save or don't save. They speak about fear and eliminating fear. One of the things that I had was I feared poverty. In every essence, I feared poverty, and I thank Centonomy, that mindset in this class was changed. My journey continued. Maybe someone was thinking I am into only men, only women. So there were also men that I listened to. Still, you can see their CEOs, founders. And I was surprised that they had problems just like any human being. They feared scarcity. They had lifestyles that did not match the income that they received. They spoke about their braveness and courage in terms of investing. And then, of course, for me, the last one was the one in September, on Saturday, 17th May 2025, a day like this. I listened in, and I don't know how many of you are going to fall off, but I did fall off. But as my culture had been to just go back every maybe Monday or open day to see what has been posted, I went back 2 weeks later and I saw everything that had happened on that day. And I remember thinking, I'm not yet there. One of the things that also Centonomy helped me is that they helped me have very good financial habits. As I walked into the class in June, I was not struggling with saving. I was not struggling with investing. Of course, I didn't know where to invest. As long as I saved, I'm habitual by nature, so I don't struggle with habits, good or bad, all are the same. So I had set up my accounts. I know what money goes off, in what percentages, standing order, and I don't even think about it. I don't look at the money, and money was just piling on an account. Of course, because you don't have your why, sometimes you just get it and maybe go on a holiday. I went on holiday for a very long time of my period of my investment journey because I didn't have my why. All I knew is I have money. And one of the things that I learned as we were starting, Waithaka and Caroline were discussing money. And in discussing money, they were looking at the things that you can offset for the ones that you love. And they spoke about lunch. Now, for me, lunch is not important. Food is not important. But they clearly spoke about holiday, and holiday was important to me. So everything I kept, holiday, 3 months. And I made it a point that every quarter, Ugandans, we have a lot of public holidays. Every public holiday, I was in a destination somewhere in Uganda. Did it serve me? No, it didn't. So I had some good habits, but I didn't think I was wealthy. I didn't see the wealth. I was not yet like Monaco. He had buildings I didn't have. He had a business for each of his children. I didn't have that. And I had gone into 2 children already. And of course, like all of us, sometimes you struggle when it comes to school fees time. January, we all speak about it. So I was not there. And for me, that wasn't enough. So as I watched Prim, Waithaka, Daisy, and Huda, I just thought I can't continue to think about it. And quickly I enrolled. I enrolled late, and I didn't care that I was late. So some of you may be saying, oh, I don't have the money, oh, I'm busy next week, next 3 months. I was quite busy. If you know the life of an accountant, from June to September is quite busy. But one thing I knew, I could not postpone this any further. So yes, I was late. I subscribed, I joined, and there I was. And you may ask yourself, why am I sharing all this? I'm sharing all this to disqualify anything or any mindset for anyone that thinks I'm a banker. We usually think bankers have money. I am an accountant. I will figure these things out. I will watch. I will go on social media and find knowledge. I sought a lot of knowledge. That didn't make me wealthy. But when I looked at the lineup, the modules, I knew I had a gap. So my Centonomy journey then started. We learned managing money. And for me, I'm going to highlight some of the things that maybe I unlearned, because remember, as you listen, you're learning. But I can kid you not, you can't learn everything as you're just watching maybe a recap of this video. You won't learn everything. So managing money, I was quite shocked. And maybe sometimes I had an attitude of I've had it, or I know what they're going to talk about. And I reached in class, saving and investment, emergency fund. I didn't have one. Why? I didn't have a template. I'd never had anyone speak about it. When they speak about it, they speak about it in part. So I didn't have the full knowledge. What do I do? I've saved all this money. What do I do? I also didn't understand that putting money aside is very different from putting it to make it work for you. I didn't understand that. I hadn't learned it. Budgeting, as an accountant, I had budgets. I was good. Every month I do my budget. In the profession I'm in, we also do variance analysis. You have to explain what happened to the variances or what caused the variances. So I was good, and I thought, well, maybe budgeting, I'm not going to need as much budgeting learning. And then I saw the ABC budget approach. Then I figured I maybe don't even know what this budgeting is in terms of personal finance. So if you will get into the class, you will understand ABC. Mine is just to share, and I'm limited to time. And then there was the balance sheet, personal balance sheet. And I remember when Waithaka said balance sheet, I said, no, that's not what a balance sheet looks like. There's got to be liabilities, there's got to be these, from an understanding of an accountant. But that as well didn't serve me. So in Centonomy, in the class, you will understand that it is the analysis of your assets and liabilities. Finally, to give you your net worth, should anything change in your income and regular income, how many months do you have to survive? I think for you to understand your wealth journey or trajectory, you have to put that down. You have to understand it. You have to be aware. And then time value for money. I remember this video that I listened to on the Centonomy website that spoke about time value for money. At that time, I was learning time value for money in my financial management course. And I thought, well, this one I understand. And I can tell you when I came to class, no, I didn't. Centonomy has only 3 formulas for your time value for money, nothing complex, nothing as complex as what is in class. You will understand how much you need to save or to have in your bank account 10 years from now, and I think for me, I took the example of how much money do I want for my children for university, and we calculated it. And of course, once you see the money, some people at that point faint. For me, I was courageous to think, how do I get 10 million? So it was easy for me because in development world, we look at the budget. We don't even look at money. I don't have it. So if this is my budget, then I go out and look for money. And that's the approach I took. If this is how much money I want, I now have to figure out how to get it. Investment, that for me was a very interesting topic. What is a viable investment? Many Ugandans say, the other day we were discussing with a friend of mine and saying, you know, Ugandans don't save. And this person said, no, Ugandans save, they buy property, and that's how they save. That's not saving. Because we keep thinking that all property is an investment and all property leads to a profit. We like being sure, we like being guaranteed. But I can tell you from the class, you will understand that not all properties are investment properties. And then, of course, maximizing my investment in shares. I can tell you there are many people here, when MTN was starting, we bought shares because we understood there's stock market. We bought Safaricom. A friend of mine told me they bought Safaricom and they don't even know what's happening. They've never, I asked, do you get dividends? They said no. So I said, so what's the point of investment? Either you sell it or figure out. And he said, no, leave my investment. I need it. But that's not an investment. You can't invest without watching. That's called dumping. You've dumped and then gone away. And this for me was my main highlight, protecting my money. Because of course I came with an attitude of I know how to do it, I have done it over the years. So this came as my highlight, both from a point of understanding, but also interest. I had invested in insurance. As many of you have insurance for your children, insurance here and there. And I didn't read the small little imprints, and I got into trouble. So much trouble that I even had to recall that investment before it was time. So Centonomy changed my mindset. Insurance is to protect your investment, and you have to think about it like that. Estate planning and investment groups, the long-term perspective on my financial journey. What do I want for my estate? What do I want or expect from my investment group? Last but not least, having a financial plan. This, for me, while I was in class, was so enlightening. Because as a mentor, we tell people, draw the picture. What do you want to be? Should it be on a career path? What do you want to be? Tell me I want to be like Waithaka, and then I guide you to work backwards. So that is exactly how simplified it was for me. I have to understand my picture. What do I want in 10 years? I want my family getting into, rather my children getting into university. Waithaka was key to say, what university, Charity? Name it. And I didn't even know the university. So you can see that we actually don't plan, not only for our lives, but even for our finances. The mindset also on the various different classes. High risk, low risk. As not for that, I don't want to get into trouble, because remember, I am scared of poverty. But how are you going to grow wealth when you're just on one line? Centonomy draws a graph and shows you the point at which you have the high investment, which are your high return, high risk. You have to venture into that. Of course, with the guidance of experts, and then the periodic review within your changing circumstances. So that for me was quite mind-changing. How do I want to conclude my talk? The other day, I saw this quote: you don't have to get to 100% certainty on your big decisions. Get to 51%, and when you get there, make the decision and be at peace with the facts that you have made the decision based on the information you had. Because 100% certainty only happens in hindsight. Now I'm speaking for my overthinkers, my accountants, my people who have understood finance, that they want value for money, and they're sitting there and asking this 1.5, then what will they do? What do they give me? Don't overthink it. One of the things I have found in my mentorship journey with Ugandans in particular is that our call and appetite for growth is still limited. It's still wanting. We think that watching a video, watching a TikTok makes me an expert. If you doubt, think about it. If you are going to build a house, would you really invest over 10% of what you're going to put your bills of lading to an architect? Some of us don't. We think they should be a shortcut. But I can tell you, shortcuts don't help you, don't help your journey. So I am calling us to growth. I sit with people on the board. Thank God I'm not mentioning names. And I see a limitation in knowledge on matters of finance. I work with people, speak to people, and they don't even understand shares. But we have the Ugandan Stock Exchange. Over the maybe 3 months, you've seen people falling into trouble because of Ponzi schemes. And it happens every other year. There'll be a Ponzi. And on this chart of accountants, it's a circle. There, over 2 weeks, people were still discussing, is this a Ponzi? Is it not a Ponzi? Is it accountant? And clearly for me, that showed that's the requirement we have in matters of finance and financial management, especially personal finance management, because this translates into how you do business. And still, 100%, I want to emphasize, certainty only happens in hindsight. For me, after Centonomy, I can tell you I got more than 100%. Thank you very much. Over to you, Waithaka.
Come on, guys, put your hands together for
Thank
Charity.
you.
Charity, you are not alone. You should hear this from Emanuela in the chat box. Emanuela says, yes, as the chairperson of the Overthinkers Committee, I thank you for sharing that last insight. There are many of us in that room. I want us to be so clear because there's others. There's Yvonne. There's Melinda. Melinda also said, I'm an accountant and I'm on the list of those that need 100% certainty. I think Lorna also joined. I definitely needed to hear that as an overthinker. Charity, thank you for being so clear and for being so concise and helping us to think differently. So now that you are an overthinker, how did you get over that in the class? Could you tell us now, even as we close, how did you manage to get over it?
Because I had seen the journey that I had taken, I even thought to myself, how did the first cohort happen? And I didn't know. Because ideally, for 11 years, someone must be an ambassador. But there were no results for ambassadorship on financial management. So I didn't even think about it. I can tell you, I knew I was led to Waithaka 2 weeks into the class, and immediately I enrolled. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because of the appetite, and I was not changing. 11 years of information, and you have not changed to become like Monaco, the guy that you thought is unlearned. So in class, I was not overthinking. I had to attain everything. Because of that, Waithaka, I attended both the Ugandan class and the Kenyan class. Every Monday, I was calling Waweru, bless him, to say, please send me the recordings, because I had to understand. Of course, knowing, and Godfrey spoke about it, you have to have a tracker. You have to immediately have what you're taking away. And for
Yeah.
me, I had my action tracker. Every week I knew what I had to do. And as I speak, in estate planning, we spoke about children, your will, and I have already started on that. I have already opened SDA accounts for my children to start investing in shares. So once you get that knowledge and you're hungry, there's no time to overthink. You know that you have to just do the right thing. But clearly, the action tracker for me was a great tool. Every
Yeah.
class I knew, what do I have to do with the information that I had received?
Yeah, yeah. And Charity, I think this is so important for everyone to understand. Both of you are financial practitioners. Godfrey and Charity, these are professionals in finance, and yet this class was useful to such people because it is not an issue of understanding mathematics 1 + 1, it is a mindset shift. So even that thought process of, I remember going through that in the class with you, where we are saying, you want your children to go to university, but you don't have a plan. Like you've never sat down and been challenged to do that. And then when we challenged you and said, where do you want them to go? Which university did you say you want your kids to go to? We did the calculation in the class.
University. I
Yeah.
said Leicester University in England. I
Yes.
still remember.
Correct.
So that's a debt I have to fulfill for myself.
So what we need to understand, Charity, is that the plan to go to Leicester University and the plan to go to Makerere are not the same. That's what we don't understand. They are not the same.
They are not the same.
So we need to begin to shift. Guys, come on, put your hands together for Charity. She's done such an amazing job. She's
Thank you.
She was instrumental in the class. You'll meet a lot of wonderful people like her in the session, and we're so glad. And you know what? Because I think, yes, we still might have oh, no, that was just a handshake that was going out. I think, Charity, if you can just stop the presentation on your side, it will help us to get through here. I want to be clear. The Centonomy, thank you so much, Charity. Centonomy 101 is designed to help you accelerate your journey to financial freedom in just 12 weeks. The managing of your money, the investments, the protection, and then an actual 5-year financial plan. Each week, you come in for one module, one class every week online. One class. So currently we'll be running the, let me get that. Yes, we'll be running the class once a week. All right, from the 23rd of September, that's the date that I was looking for. So you come in on a Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. or Saturday morning at 9 a.m. So you can choose which of those classes to come. You don't come for both, although many people like Charity come for both. You say, I came in on Tuesday, but I want to get it again. You're welcome to do that. And what that does for you, it begins to allow you to learn and implement what we're talking about here. So you come for one online class per week for 12 weeks, starting on the 23rd of September. We start off with personal money management, which is addressing our mindset, our planning, our direction, and setting goals. Then we go to time value of money, which is what Charity happened to mention there. How do you plan for your children's education? You have to do estimates for the future. How do you know that that piece of land that you have bought will appreciate to the level that you need to if you don't do the calculations? That's what we're helping you to do. How do you plan for your retirement? Let's do a quick example in the chat box, if you don't mind. The first time your parents ever sent you to the shop to buy a loaf of bread, the first time your parents ever sent you, your parents, not you, your parents sent you, how much did that bread cost? And be careful, this will tell us your age in the chat box. The very first time that your parents taught you, sent you to buy a loaf of bread from the shop, how much did it cost in Uganda shillings? How much? How much did it cost? Come on, everybody in the chat box. It was 4,000. That means you are very young. You see now, I can tell. Shalom said 4,000. Now Monica tells us, Monica is with me as we go forward. Okay, it was 800 when Monica bought for the first time. How much is a loaf of bread today in Uganda shillings? Come on. Lisa, we are together. When it was 500, it was 500. How much is it when you try and go buy today? So when Lisa bought it for the first time, it was 500. Today it is up to 7,000. I'm seeing, depending on which shop you go to. 500 to 7. So when we are in retirement in about 20 years from now, how much do you think a loaf of bread is going to cost 20 years from now? Now when you are retired, you're relaxed, you're earning your pension, how much do you think the loaf of bread will cost? This is the calculation. Do you think Lisa's parents, when she was being sent with 500, thought that the loaf of bread will cost 10 times as much? Did you notice that? 10 times. How do you plan? That's time value of money. Then debt. So did you notice how we talked about debt there? We showed you and we discussed it, and we were very clear how debt functions in our lives. And we're able to show you that this is the direction that we want your money to go as far as your work is concerned. How do you manage? Get out of bad debt and grow. Then living abundantly. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be in class with a life coach who will help you to set goals for the future, to manage fear and overcome that fear, and then become very clear about the actions you're going to take towards that goal. Now that you have that knowledge, that you're in that same place, in that knowledge, then now we get into the investment classes. I want you to write this down because it's vital for you to have this information. Ladies and gentlemen, the best investment, write this down, the best investment is the one that matches your goal. Because all investments are good, all of them, they have their place. But you select certain investments for the goal that you have. So for example, if my goal is a savings goal, then I select a tool or an investment, or I should not say an investment, I should say an instrument that is secure and accessible. Those are the ones that you want for savings. Things like a money market fund, like a savings account, like a fixed deposit. That's where to put the money for saving because the goal is saving. But if it's for investment for growth, you want to see a high return over time, you'll select a different investment. So because now you have set goals, when you come into the investment classes, you'll be asking very specific questions, like Charity mentioned, about the outcome that you want to have, so that you make sure you're putting your money in the right place for the outcome that you want. Then we get into protection classes. How does insurance work? How does it work for me? What's the best way to use it? Is it an investment? Is it protection? What's the best way? We discuss that. And rather than trying to sell you insurance, we are telling you how it works. Estate planning, you will listen to a lawyer who will help you to understand how do I organize my wealth so that it benefits me now, but also will benefit me and my family in future. So it's not just about writing a will, it's how do you organize the wealth that you have. Then we have the class on taxes. Now, all of us in Africa know what it means to be taxed. Please pay only the amount of tax that you must. Don't pay anything more. Make sure that you're tax efficient. And just as Charity said, we don't want you to just be saying, oh my goodness, we don't want you to just listen and have all the knowledge and not take action. Look at Module 11. Module 11 is titled correctly. Please say it out loud for yourself. It goes like this. Module 11 says, my financial plan. So it stops being about what Centonomy thinks, what the investment experts think. It is now you making decisions that will get you to your goal. And finally, we talk about our group investments and how do we implement this goal. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special offer for you. Because you have given us your time, we are giving back. We are saving you 15,000 shillings on registration. So you can only register today for 30,000 shillings only. The rest of the fees is payable via installments. That 1.45 million is in payable installments. On the 23rd of September, by that time, you will pay 510,000. A month later, a whole month later, because we know the pressure on us, we get paid monthly, we know that. A month later, you pay 510, and then the last month even becomes easier. It's only 425 for that last month. So you can register today, take advantage of the special on registration today, 30,000, because if you come tomorrow, I cannot promise that we'll give you that same discount. This is because we want you to take action when? Today. I think you heard that from Godfrey, and I think you heard that from Charity. Take action now. In case you're going to be paying via mobile money, you can send that registration amount of 30,000 to book your place in the class. Make sure you don't miss your place in the class at +256 762 329170. Just take a quick screenshot so that you have it next to you and you're able to see, and you'll see the name there is Malvin Mashara Omboy. For that payment, it will be registered, and we'll be able to send you the orientation pack that gives you all the details as to how the class is going to run. So just one more time, it's registration at 30,000. You can use Momo Pay, and it's +256 7623 29170. You'll see the name is Malvin Mashara. You can also have other payment details. If you prefer to pay through your bank or your credit card, you can use the bank details there. Just take a quick screenshot so you have the bank details, Guaranteed Trust Bank. And if you're paying through the bank there, just make sure you have the details in place. If you want to use your credit card or your debit card, please, please, please feel free to use PayPal. The account number is finance@centonomy.com. finance@centonomy.com, and you'll just make that payment there. You can also use PesaPal. Take a quick screenshot of that link, type it in, and you'll be sent a prompt on how to make the payment using your debit card or credit card. And if you need any assistance, the details at the bottom of the screen there, we are there to help you in order to be able to grow and build. This is a transformative program that will change your life even as you come in. Did you see the practical nature of that discussion around debt? We're not saying debt as a mental process. No, you will actually do the calculations in the class, ladies and gentlemen, and be able to grow and build from that perspective. We're going to be able to take questions later on. So if you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask, there's a tab at the bottom somewhere around your screen that says Q&A. I like all the questions that are coming through the chat, and our team are responding as much. But if you have a question on content and you'd like to get some feedback on that from Charity, from Godfrey, from myself, please feel free to put your questions in the Q&A and we'll come and respond to them. I saw some good questions coming up in the chat box, and sometimes it might be hard to find them. So we'll ask that you are able to put your questions in the Q&A that you can follow up. One more time, the details for MomoPay, you can be able to take a quick screenshot of that, and you'll be able to get the information that you need as we get going. Now, as we move forward, I'm just confirming that yes, our next speaker, I'm so excited to have her here. She comes to share on her personal experience on growing wealth and building towards her goals. It is our dear friend, Lisa Kusima, who is in the house, ready to share experiences. Lisa, how are you doing? This is a moment you can unmute and join us. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How is everyone?
Great. People are ready. They have their notebooks. Tell us the story as well.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here, and it's an honor to share my wealth journey. Now, for those that do not know me, my name is Lisa Kusima. I am a digital content creator, an influencer, but I'm also a wife. I've been married for coming to 9 years now, so yeah, I'm doing the most. But then I have 3 amazing children that some of you have seen on social media, and I'm so excited to share. Now, there's a quote that I want to start with that I always draw back to, yeah, and it reads, "Your money decisions today are your children's opportunities tomorrow." I'll read that again. Your money decisions today are your children's opportunities tomorrow. And this quote is profound. It's profound for me, and I'm going to tell you why. So about 11 years, when I was 11 years, I lost my mom, unfortunately. I lost my mom. And then a few years after, maybe 1, my dad lost his job. Now, for those that know, losing a job is not easy, you know? And he never ever thought he would lose his job because he was working as a top executive in a big NGO, and that was his career. He had always worked in big NGOs, and money was always coming in. Like, he never thought money would ever disappear. So we were middle income, I would say, yeah, middle income class. And we had almost everything we needed. There was no lack. Everything was just good. And unfortunately, when he lost his job, we went from 100 to 0 real quick. I don't know if anyone knows that, real quick. You can let me know in the chat box, has anyone heard of the breadwinner's dilemma? Yeah? Remember, my mom has passed. Now my dad has lost a job, and we're about 6 children, all in school, in very prominent schools. So of course the money was a lot. So the breadwinner's dilemma is where if anything happens to the breadwinner, yeah, for some people from high income can go to middle income just like that. For others, it's a matter of months, and it slowly, just goes down. Some people will be selling land, you begin selling some few properties that you have. Things were really tough. I remember vividly in school, maybe you've gone for holidays at home, and then you come for breakfast in the morning, and there is no breakfast. That bread you're talking about of 5,000, 2,000 was not there. And it's so funny because when you're in an at home in a gated environment, people on the outside think everything is happening well for you. Unfortunately, we were struggling. And sometimes we'd have to eat, let's say, the sweet potatoes of last night for breakfast. It was tough, especially if you've been at 100 and then you have to go down real quick like that. It was tough. And I remember also, like, on campus, I was an A student. My do you call it GP? I'm forgetting what it's called. But I would get like 4.1, 3.8. I was an A student. And I remember the last semester of my 3rd year, school fees had not been paid. Like, the balance of the tuition had not been paid. And if you were in UCU, Uganda Christian University, they give you warnings. You can't sit exams without payment. And I remember calling my dad. I called my dad and said, "Daddy, the money, I will not be able to sit." And he's like, "Lisa, I have tried. I have failed. Please look." You guys, if your parent tells you, "Please look," you're like, "Look where? How? Where am I going to get this money?" It was really, really tough. And I remember in that moment, I vowed that my children would never have to experience this kind of emotional turmoil, because it can really be tough when you're in school and all your friends have grab. You know how your parents visit you in school and they have all this grab for you, and then for you, your dad has come with like one small green cavera of like of like one bottle of quencher. It was tough, let me tell you. Yeah. So when life was hard, I made that vow. I knew that never again would my children or family ever experience this. So fast forward, I get married to an amazing gentleman. And after a year, we went for a marriage retreat. We usually go for marriage retreat. So we went for marriage retreat. And one of these sessions was about finances. And I remember the gentleman asking us, "All right, guys, do we know our net worth? All right, let us know net worth." And we're like, "Net worth?" For some people like me, who had only had net worth with these celebrities, maybe Oprah Winfrey, her net worth is 3.1 billion US dollars. And in our heads, we don't actually know what that really means. Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone like me. Just let me know in the comment section. Do you know your net worth? Yeah. And when he taught us how to calculate it, my husband and I, we realized, wow, wait a minute. We didn't like what we saw. It was not good. And, you know, for some people like me, we were doing what we call YOLO. You only live once. And you know, when you're in love, when everything is going well, sometimes you don't think about the future. You're just like, things are okay now, and that's what matters. And then it quickly hit me. Wait a minute. Isn't this how my father was? Like, he only was earning from his job. He had no investments whatsoever. Okay, when I talk to him now, he says he was just about to start. He was just about to start making those investments. But you know, life comes at you and you do not know. If you're not prepared, it always comes at you. So it just hit me like, wait a minute, this is where we could be going. And from then on, we realized we needed to do better. So they taught us how to calculate our net worth. They taught us the best principles. And then me and my husband went on a journey of just understanding finances. Years later, we actually got a financial advisor. We read about finances. We plugged in spaces like this. Every time we hear financial conversations, guess what? We are going to be there because we want to learn. We don't want that to happen to us ever again. And you know, sometimes, for those that do not know, I met my husband when I was ushering because I was looking for money. Guys, when you know that your father has said, look, you are going to look. So I was ushering on campus, trying to make as much money. And I met him at an ushering gig at a wedding. And then he asked me, so how much are you getting paid for this? Because you know, the whole night you are maybe serving, welcoming guests and all these things. And I told him 50K. And you know, as a single bachelor, he's like, 50K? That's so little for the work you're doing. But let me tell you, on campus, that was a lot of money. So I ended up having to be, you know, hardworking and things like that. So I realized that we needed to do better. So we plugged in, and let me tell you now, we are on track to securing our family future. We are planning better. And I just thought I would share a few things that have helped us on the journey. Yeah. Just a few things that have helped us on the journey. And one of them is really having a goal. From that experience, we knew that if we do not know where we want to go, like, how are we going to even achieve it? And if you've seen some of my videos on social media at the beginning of the year, my husband and I, we go for a retreat together and just plan, write out our goals. How much money do we want to accumulate by the end of the year? And when you visualize it, it helps you know, okay, where is this money going to come from? You're not guessing, you're not thinking. And that has really, really helped us, having a goal to ensure that those dreams that we have, like Charity was saying, you know, the university you want to take your children to, which one is it? Write it down. How much does it cost? Calculate, you know, and those are the things we're trying to punch in and understand. Okay, that's what it means. So having a goal has really helped us with that. The second thing that has helped us is diversification of income, but also of assets. Now, seeing what my father went through, he always thought the job would be there, and it was a good job. Let me tell you, we're driving Land Cruisers, changing cars. It was beautiful, you know, but he only relied on that income. And when you talk about diversification of income, I just like to look at it like a table. A table has, you know, 4 legs. So if one leg is cut off, you know, the table may stand a bit. You cut off the second leg, it starts to shake. If you cut off the other leg, now you on one leg, it will definitely fall. So for me, I always like to think of, okay, what are the streams of income that I have? How can I increase, you know, those sources of income? And I'm already sitting down with my husband to make sure that, okay, how best can we bring in some more income? Yeah. And then also with the assets thing, one of the things I learned is, you know, Ugandans, like you've said, Waithaka, people like land. Everyone wants to buy land, you know, but we need to think about other asset classes that are there that you can actually invest in. And like you said, the goal, what exactly is your goal, you know? So when you look at land, cash assets, maybe bonds, we like to diversify. For us, we want to ensure that our no asset class is above 40%. Because you find that you have 10 pieces of land, and then you get your next big chunk of money, the next investment again is land. But then you find that 80% of all your investment is in land. And then if something happens, guess what? Selling that land is not going to be easy because now you're panicking, you need land, you need money now. So that's one thing that that has helped us to just be able to diversify. Okay, when we look at our net worth, and you're looking at your assets and you see that, okay, you're already at 50% with land, maybe let's look at the bonds, maybe let's look at the other cash assets, maybe equities and shares and all these things. And for me personally, that gives me peace of mind. Remember, actually, when I told you that you only live once, it was majorly my husband, by the way. He is such a enjoy life now, And when I reminded him of my story, he's like, so now he's even more than me because now we are building. Every small money we get is like, cement. I'm just like, please calm down. We also need to enjoy. But it's been such a great experience. So that diversification has really, really helped us. And then the other thing that helps us is just structuring our money. If you don't direct where the money is going, guys, it will go somewhere. It will surely go somewhere, So we have a principle that we use. We have the 10% we save, 20% we invest, 10% we give, 10% we tithe, and then we spend the 50%. Let me tell you guys, religiously, we will do that. And you see the order. Yeah, you save. Some people, you get money and then you're like, I will save some money. I will save up some money. Before you know it, you're going to watch a concert. Then another person has an emergency. Oh, please help us with some money. We want to buy a washing machine. Meanwhile, you don't have a washing machine at home. So you're going to give them also to buy a washing machine. Yet you don't even have it. You get what I mean? So direct the money where it needs to go. And even when it comes to, let's say, spending, when we have that 50% of expenditure that we have to use, one thing that has really helped us is delayed gratification. And I know it can be hard because I'm a saver. I know my money temperament is, sorry, not a saver, is a spender. My money temperament is a spender. When I see things, I'm like, that works for me. I need to get it, But I've learned that it's okay to delay gratification. You don't have to have it now. You don't have to have it now. Sit on it, think about it, and let me tell you, you will see that I actually didn't need that. Now, for example, I've had my car for a few years. Let me tell you, the SC sometimes is just not working. We fix it. And I can actually afford to buy a new car now. But then I always think about this principle is if I can't buy it thrice, maybe I cannot afford it. Can I afford it? Because if you spend all your saving on buying this new car that you really want right now, and then you're back to square one, you don't have anything, you're struggling, guess what? You will be like the example of my dad, where if anything happens to your source of income, you're starting from scratch. So we just like to go through those things of, okay, can we have it now? Maybe we can actually have it next year. So what are we going to do about it now? Let's save up this money. Let's move some money here and there. So delay that gratification. Just because everyone is traveling for Christmas, is going to Dubai, you don't have to also go. Because remember, you have a goal. My goal as a family is different from your goal as a family. So just because you've seen someone traveling to Dubai and has gone out, you think that even us, you put pressure and you start to move. But you don't know that that person, maybe they are eating their fruits and not their harvest. They are eating their fruits. They invested some money and now they're getting their money. They've got their money back and that's the one they've used to travel. When you've seen them, you've used your seed. You've used your seed instead of the harvest. Sorry, you get what I'm saying? They planted, now it has brought some more money. That's what they have used to buy that new car. That's what they have used to buy their, to go on their next trip. So I think it's just a mentality that we keep thinking about for us as a family is, do I have to have it now? Can I buy it 2 or 3 times? That shows that I can afford it. Like if I bought a new car twice, I would still have enough money on my account. Then I know, maybe I can afford it, So that's something that has helped us. The other thing is having money dates. Me and my husband have money dates quarterly, to just think about, okay, that's what the plan was, but are we on track? Wait a minute, something has taken us off. Maybe you've spent quite a bit on a certain emergency you didn't plan for, your emergency fund has maybe reduced. Are we on track? So those frequent money dates really, really help us. Yeah. And then starting early, guys. My husband, is making 40 this year, and he says, if I had just started at 20 years, where would we be? Where would we be? And you know, many times as young people in our 20s especially, you feel like life is God, you have a lot of time, you know, you're enjoying life, you will start saving. When I get married, I will start being serious. I don't need too much money now. When I get a family, let me tell you, when you get a family, that's when now expenses are so many. You're like, oh my God, now you're paying for school fees. Now you have to do this. So there's not enough money for you to actually invest. A person who starts early now without a family might actually save more and invest more because their expenses are not as many. So please start early, start now, because I've really seen that element of compounding interest. Now imagine this was maybe 7 years ago when we had that eye opener at the retreat. If we had not done anything about it now, would still be where we were then. But that's the thing about money, is the small things you keep doing, you keep saving slowly, small. Before you know it, in 5 years, you're like, oh, wow, I did that, you know, I saved that. So you just start early and start now. And it's never about how much you have. That, oh, let me wait until I can earn 10 million. That's when I'll start saving properly. You know, that is it. Let me tell you, even if you're earning 1 million, it's about the principle. And I've seen that work so well. You just take away 100,000 every month. Guess what? By the time the year ends, if you're using nice investment tools, it would have compounded, it would have increased even more. So I think it's really, really important to start early. And then I think this one is really at the core of my heart because I've experienced this, and you know, our experiences shape us. Life insurance. Life insurance really, because my mom passed away, there was some money, at least, like, you know, you've lost someone, you're mourning, but then you're worried about what you're going to eat tomorrow. Like, it's tough. So for me, life insurance gives me so much peace, and it's something we've talked about, that in case anything happens to the breadwinner, in case anything happens to my spouse, at least there is something to start from. You know, there is, you just have, it gives you, it buys you time. And I've seen the Centonomy course and what it gives. I'm seeing all the gems. I'm like, this is it. Oh my God, you even talked about insurance. Perfect. How does it work? I believe that this course is honestly something that everyone needs. So for me, these are some of the things that are helping us. We are still on the journey. And I love to say that you can't learn enough. All the time when I hear a money conversation, I plug in. Guys, like, you're trying to charge, yeah? Charge, lest you forget everything. Charge, plug in, get that accountability in, because that will help you keep track of now you have your goal, you keep it to yourself. Guess what? You're going to disappoint yourself because no one is going to hold you accountable. But if I tell Waithaka and I tell him, you know what? At the end of this year, I want to do this. Guess what? He's going to call you and say, month 3, what is the plan? Have you done that? So for me, those are the things that have really helped me. And I just like to go back to my quote. My money decisions today are my children's opportunities, or lack thereof. Or lack thereof. Let's not just say lack thereof, because it can be an opportunity, but guess what? There may not be an opportunity for any of your children because they're just trying to live hand to mouth, because we did not secure their futures. You know, so I want to leave you with a challenge. What decisions are you making today that will create opportunities for the people that you love? Are you doing something, or are you doing nothing? And guess what? Whether you're doing something or doing nothing, you're doing something. And for me, with that experience of what I went through with my dad and my family, it's not happening again voluntarily. You know, life we cannot predict, but some struggles are by choice. Like, they are not necessary. With all the information that we're putting out there, it's not necessary for you to go through what, for example, that I went through. So thank you so much. I hope you found value in my sharing. I'm really, really glad that I got the opportunity. I hope that we can all walk a powerful journey financially, knowing what we know now. Thank you.
Wow, Lisa. Guys, come on, come on. She deserves better than that. Thank you so much, Lisa. You know, I tell people when you attend a session like this, it is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. It is not easy to share your personal journey. But in sharing that personal journey, it makes other people so much better. We learn from other people's successes, from their failures and their growth. Guys, thank you. Thank you. Everyone understands what I'm saying here? Lisa, that you shared so openly, so candidly, your family, your history, your marriage. I mean, this is, and you can imagine being in a classroom with everyone doing the same thing. It is transformative. It makes a huge difference in our lives. There's a question for you, Lisa. This is from Risasi Jalia. And they're asking, what is delayed gratification? You know, we use some of these terminologies and people are wondering, what in the world is that? Talk to Risasi about that.
Yes, delayed gratification is, when you buy a car or when you buy that new outfit, you know how you feel? You feel good, you feel excited. You want to tell your friends, probably. You can delay that. You don't have to have it now. Plan for it to have it in a few months, but you don't have to get it immediately. So delay that gratification, that good feeling that you're going to get when you buy that new thing, when you buy that house, when you get that car. You can delay it for a moment and plan better for it so that you are not, bombarded with all these things that are going to come as a consequence of getting it now. Yes, people will be clapping for you. Oh my God, Lisa bought a new car. But wait, your account is on zero. What's that about? What's that?
You know, I was waiting for that word. You said for a moment. And this is something that people don't get about it. It's not that we're saying you will never get the car. We're just saying because you have multiple priorities, you have different plans, all you're saying is, I will get it when it makes sense. I will get it when it's part of my agenda and my plan. That's what I loved. You know, because sometimes people say, don't go for the fun things. No, then what's the point of living, Lisa? What is the point? We're here to enjoy and live life abundantly. But abundance does not mean irresponsible. Abundance does not mean that you have missed out on something else that was good for you. Go ahead, Lisa. Yes, what did you want to add?
Yes, just to add on that, like when we're making a goal, one of our family values is fun. So we must have fun. Even as we are planning and enjoy and saving and investing, we must have fun. So we actually put money aside for a trip at least every year. Just some money. And then we set it aside. We plan for it. So don't think that someone has woken up and wow, they have gone to Malaysia. Let me tell you, it was planned last year. It's not a mystery. So,
Come on.
yeah.
Budget for fun. That's one of the big mistakes around the budgeting process that we make. We leave all the fun out. We don't even put the things that matter to us, the holidays, the upgrades. Your lifestyle needs to be supported by your budget. And that's what we're going to do. Come on, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, give Lisa a hand one more time. She's done an amazing job. She shared from her heart, and I know that we're going to grow. Please, as she said, I was paying attention. She said, start now. Do not waste a moment. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen. If we have convinced you thus far, this is the time. Register today for the Centonomy 101 program. It is starting on the 23rd of September. You register today with only 30,000 shillings. You can take a quick screenshot if you want so that you have the Momo Pay details. It is plus 256 762 329170. And you'll see the name there, Malvin, which will show up. Here, take another quick screenshot with the bank details for the program so you can be able to make your payments directly from your bank. You can pay using your debit card or credit card using PayPal or PesaPal, and the details are there on the screen. If you have any questions, you can be able to put them in the chat and our team will be able to respond to you and give you the specific outcomes that we're looking for here. Listen, it is worth your time and effort to go through. I just wanted to give you very, very quickly just a look so that you can see that what we're discussing here is practically in the program itself. So we're not just talking about things that are outside of the discussion at all. Here it is. Sorry, I wanted to just change the presentation very quickly. Here we go. So when we talked about net worth, did you hear Lisa talking about net worth? We have a tool in the program called your balance sheet, and everybody is going to get this tool. And you're able to look through it and be able to work out, how does it work for me? What is my current net worth? Which direction am I going to go? And you're making practical decisions. It's not just talk, it is action. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time to take practical action towards your wealth creation journey. I am so impressed by the questions that are being put in the chat box. I encourage you to continue to do that. I encourage you to please continue to put your questions in the chat box. We'll take time to respond to them. And as you do so, the team will also support those who are looking for support on any questions to do with the program itself. So it is my immense pleasure to invite our next speaker for the day. She's the reason that we are here, because 16 years ago, she had a vision of helping Africans generate and build wealth. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the founder of Centonomy, Waceke Nduati. Waceke.
Yes, can you hear me?
This morning we can hear you loud and clear. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon. Okay, it's not yet. Okay, not yet.
Yes.
Good morning for the last 5 minutes, everybody. It's been so enriching to hear the conversations today, from Charity to Godfrey to Lisa, who has just broken it down so well. How what we teach and why we do what we do translates to life, because Centonomy has never been about it's not theory. We are not teaching theory. It's practical things people can use. So I don't even want to repeat between all the speakers plus Waithaka. I think you guys have enough information on Centonomy. I think what I can tell you is why, because I developed this program 16 years ago, why it was so important to do a program like this, and what my motivation for Centonomy was. And so that it's not just about the money, it's about our relationship with the money. It's about our mindset with the money. So for all of you who don't know me, my name is Waceke Nduati. Yes, I am the founder of Centonomy. And I am not here because I didn't start Centonomy because I knew. Now, my background was investments. It was savings. It was helping people save, helping people buy and sell shares on the stock market. At some point, I worked with property as well. Yeah. So you can imagine somebody like that. What do you think I should have had by that time? I should have had money. Yeah. But then I decided, and some of you here I know are in business. Let me go and start a business. So I went and started my first business. So this was probably 18 years ago. It was when I started my first business. And let me tell you, it was just shock. Because when you start your first business, what you assume is that I was earning a salary. I was in the financial industry. Some of you I know are in banks. In banks, you're paid on the 24th of every month. So I had gotten used to money just comes. So as much as I was helping people invest and helping people save, because money was just coming every month, I really didn't have to think about it. It was always something at some point I'll do in the future. Now, let me ask all of you, if today, those who are employed, if today your employer decided something went wrong in the system and money does not land in your account on the day it is supposed to land, what is going to happen in your life? Please, 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 please be honest. What is going to happen in your life? Can you sustain that life for a month? Can you sustain that life for 3 months? Today, you think you'll be paid on the 25th. You think you'll be paid on the 30th. The money doesn't come. What happened? So when I started my business, that is exactly what I faced. Money didn't come. The business didn't take up as quickly as I wanted it to take up. So I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot afford the lifestyle without a salary. And when I worked for the bank, we'd be even out somewhere on the 23rd, and at midnight we go to the ATM because the system was so precise. It's on the 24th at 12:01 there'd be money in the account. So even though we were out somewhere, we know we'd find money. So let me ask all of you, what when the system fails, the system that is in your life, it could be a salary, it could be a business, it could be a spouse, it could also be a spouse and something happens to the spouse's income. Yeah, it could be a parent. What happens when your financial system fails you? And I think we've always built systems, and without realizing it, that are reliant on other people. So for me, it was a big wake-up call that I needed to build a system that is reliant on me. And that is the first time I started thinking about my personal savings and investments. And I can see some of you are saying it will be colleagues' money that will come your way. What if that system also fails? So what the inspiration for Centonomy was that it was not just to save. We're not here just so that you have better savings. Yeah. We're here so that you actually create wealth, because wealth or financial freedom answers the questions I've posed to you. When your system fails, what will work for you? So money working for you is not now I have money to go and buy a new pair of shoes. That's not money working for you. Money working for me is that if my salary stopped today, I have a system that is working for me. And that system can start with, at least I have an emergency fund. But ultimately that system can actually replace the income that I was even earning at work. And even better, it can surpass the income I was earning at work, surpass the income I was earning at business. And business people, you are not excluded from this. You are actually at high risk because you keep pouring everything into the business. So you may be thinking this is not for you. But again, if something happened to your business, look at what we faced during COVID. Can you sustain your lifestyle? Can your kids' school fees be paid? Can you still go on holiday? So you've had a lot of people, Waithaka and some of the speakers, saying how we mention lunch money. It doesn't start with big deals. So we use lunch money because that was the calculation that started Centonomy. And let me break it down to you, okay? I used to spend when I had money coming in that I don't think about. And I think for Centonomy, what we're trying to do is raise your money consciousness. It's about you having that relationship with money. Because once you're aware, the greatest agent of change is awareness. The greatest agent of change is not millions landing in your bank account. It is awareness. Because even though we pay you millions and you're still not aware, you will do the same thing you've always been doing with money. So our goal is to make you aware. So when I didn't have money coming in easily, and when you don't have money coming in easily, that's when you go to the small amounts you are spending, and all of a sudden, you realize how much those small amounts added to. And mine was the equivalent of 300 shillings in Kenya shillings lunch, which is the equivalent of 7,500 Uganda shillings. So I'm easily, without thinking, come on, 7,500 shillings. How many of you spend that without thinking about it? It's in your mobile phone. It's money you're using. It's airtime. It's something you give someone. You send someone 7,500 shillings. And I used to spend that on lunch every day. Now, when I didn't have money, I did the calculations. Times 30, that is 225,000 shillings a month. I realized that I could pay bills. I could do part of my house shopping with 225,000 shillings. But here I was eating lunch. And I'm not saying don't eat lunch, but at the same time at home, food is being wasted. So we moved from 225. This was what got me. People have talked about holiday today. 225,000 shillings in times 12 in a year is 2.7 million shillings. What really struck me was that's a holiday. So I'm eating lunch without thinking. I'll never even remember the meal I ate, but I want to go on holiday and I'm telling myself I can't afford to go on holiday, but I'm eating my holiday in lunch every day. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where your financial goals are achieved, in the small amounts. But we don't realize that this life that we want, because Centonomy has always been about why we do, it's teaching you to create wealth so you can live abundantly. And for me, a big part of my abundance is going on holiday. So all it took is lunch. And let me tell you, I have traveled the world on that same principle. So it started locally. I've gone to countries, I've gone to Greece, I've gone to Bali, you name it. But the principle on how I go on holiday remains the same. Now, what we want you to do is build systems that allow you to go on holiday consistently. So you don't use everything in the first year's holiday. You're building a system that will increase the experience for you, but it is sustainable. So what you truly enjoy. So what you need to do with money is just understand, what do I actually value? Strip away all this rubbish that we talk about. So in Centonomy, it's about becoming the CEO of your money. Becoming the CEO of your money. Let me please make sure that word. I am the CEO of your money. From the time you leave this room today, please understand you are the CEO of your money. And one thing we make you do in the class is track your spending. Because as a CEO, you must know where your resources are going to. You must know the team you have hired, what they are actually doing. So if you are the CEO and you wake up every day telling yourself, I am the CEO of my money. You may not be the CEO in your workplace, but you are the CEO of your money. When it comes in, every coin I'm spending, track it. And we do this with you in the class because, and when you do it together with people and you do it the way we do it with you, you start to realize, oh my goodness, some of you who may be saying, I can't afford this program. Many people have come to the class and realized in 2 weeks they can afford the program. Yeah, you are the CEO of your money. So when you join Centonomy, it's not just a class you are joining. You are joining a movement. You are joining an ecosystem of people who are waking up to understand that let's get out of the stories we tell ourselves about money, that it is scarce. Let's look inward at our own behaviors. Let's be open to opportunities, and we can actually build a life that works for us. Contrary to a lot of beliefs, culture, narratives about ourselves, our countries, and our continents that have been told to us. So that's what we want you to do. We want you to create wealth in a way that you enjoy the life that you want to achieve. So I'm going to give you, because you are the CEO of your money, let me give you some things as a CEO you have to start doing. Now, we've talked about practically what Centonomy will do, but let me take you deeper and higher so that you can have the mindset of the CEO. First of all, you have to watch the stories you tell yourself. Watch the stories you tell yourself. When you are talking about money, when you are speaking about money, when you are thinking about money, what is going on in your head? If money was a person in your life, how does that relationship look like? So in class, we like telling people, this is the time to ditch the poverty support group. You know that poverty support group of, it's not enough, we'll never make it, will I ever be able to do it? Is this going to happen for me? Please watch that narrative. Because as a CEO, it's your job. I run a business, and I remember many times people are talking so badly about the economy, but as a person who leads this business, I cannot afford to get stuck in those stories. So please watch the stories that you're telling yourself. Secondly, take responsibility. I want you guys to all write this down. You are where you are because that is where you have chosen to be. Nobody has put a gun to your head to tell you to spend like that. Nobody has put a gun to your head to tell you to live where you live. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is actually forcing you to do the choices that you are doing. It may be,
sorry, on the screen,
Yeah.
it's just become a bit, and is there something on the screen? Just check. We can't see you clearly there. There
Okay,
we go.
better?
Thank you
Sorry.
so much. Much better. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right. Okay. Okay, sorry, it must have been my camera. So take responsibility. You are where you are because that is where you have chosen to be. It is so hard to hear that, isn't it? Because we like blaming other people. Don't we think it's the economy? Sometimes it's our husband, sometimes it's our wife, it's our children. But you took those children to the school you have decided to take them to. It's what? But you went for lunch where you decided to lunch. It's the government. But has the government come inside your own? First, there's some things we cannot control. Taxes we cannot control. So beyond that, yeah, what does the government have to do with your choice every day? If you've decided to give your relative money, it is your choice. I'm not saying you won't do these things, but just accept as the CEO, the decisions are ultimately yours, even if you feel compelled to do it for whatever reason. Now, because the choice is yours, the choice is also yours to do something differently if you choose to do something differently. If you sit here and say, no, I'm not ready for this program, it's okay, but the choice is yours. Yeah, and then when you hear a year later, more Lisas talking, more charities talking, and you're like, I wish I was like them, just remember you sat here and made a choice. So I had to really, really take responsibility for my choices. Even this thing we like saying, I am broke. Yeah, and when we are saying I am broke, where are we saying that? Most likely we are having coffee with somebody, making the little money we have become broke. So you have, 2,000 shillings, you have 10,000 shillings, but you're spending it on the spot. Hence, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So please, please, please take responsibility, because when you take responsibility, we can work with you. Then you can say the most important statement: what am I going to do about it? Understand the difference between a factory owner and a factory worker. That is so key. And it goes back to a factory owner has a system that works for him. This is not about whether you literally work in a factory or not. But a factory worker, if he has to get sick for 3 months, the system shuts down. And please note, there are many factory workers who look richer than factory owners, because many people are speeding down the highway of poverty in a luxury vehicle. So you drive a Range Rover, you look successful, people admire you, the watchman opens the gate for you in a special way, you get to a building, you get parking, and all this boosts your ego. You feel good. Yeah, you go and buy your first class ticket to Dubai, then you post it on Instagram, you feel good, don't you? But when you lose your source of income, can you sustain that vehicle? And you didn't do what Lisa said, you didn't question when you bought the vehicle whether you have ×3 to afford to buy the vehicle. The day you have a building buying the vehicle, that is fine, buy your vehicle, because you have tenants, you have rent coming in, and it doesn't matter whether or not your salary gets paid or not, you have money to sustain that lifestyle. So build the lifestyle that is not supported by your income. And because you're working 8 to 5 every day, start planning to build a lifestyle that will be supported by your assets. I just want you to, and when we do this net worth statement, that's what I want you to start investigating. Is my lifestyle supported by my assets, or is my lifestyle supported by my ability to work? Now, when that ability goes, what happens to my lifestyle? So imagine if your lifestyle was simply supported by your assets. So when we talk about assets and flosset, someone asked in the chat, I remember seeing, what's a flosset? The Range Rover is a flosset. It's not bad to have it. By all means, if it's one of your life goals and it has meaning to you, go ahead and plan for it. But just understand it's a flosset because it does not generate income for you. It does not appreciate in value. While an asset appreciates in value, it generates an income for you, and at the very least, it keeps your money safe. An asset, you drive the Range Rover or a car out of the dealer, it loses value immediately. So please understand, what season in life are you at, and what should be priority? I see cars I want to have every day, but I'm just like, what season am I in my life? I'm still building my business. I'm still building my assets. So is this that important now? No. But it doesn't mean I stop enjoying life completely, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, but they'll tell me now to completely stop enjoying life. We want you to put what you enjoy, but I go on holiday. Yeah, but I plan for it. So it's not about saying I have to be at completion before I start enjoying life. So start enjoying life in moderation according to what you are building. So as you build, enjoy. As you build, enjoy. Because we are human beings, and I think we have to celebrate the small wins. And when those small wins become bigger, 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 we keep celebrating them in bigger, 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 bigger ways. Understand the value of time. You've been told we teach you about time value of money. But let me do this calculation with me, please. Do this calculation. Do this calculation. Time and money are very related. How do you actually spend time? Now, what do you earn in a month? Yeah. So let's say you earn, I'm just going to do the calculation so I can convert to Uganda shillings. Let's say you earn, oh, great, thank you. How much do you earn? Thank you very much, Waithaka. So let's say you earn 2.5 million shillings a month. So just write your monthly income, okay? All right. Now, okay. Now, that one, your monthly income. How many hours do you take to earn it? So if you work a typical 8-hour day, 5 days a week, that is 40 hours a week, which is 160 hours a month. So take 2.5 million divided by 160 hours. It is your hourly rate. So if you're a consultant charging out your time, that is an hourly rate. So what do we get? And I was using this just for ease of calculation, but it doesn't matter what the estimation was. Please just use yours. Whether it's half of that, whether it's double that, whether it's 10 times that, just use yours, yeah? So that is what you earn per hour. The 2.5, take it as gross, yeah? Because you do pay tax, but it's still your hourly rate. Take it as gross, yeah? So what do you feel about your monthly hour? The 160 is coming from, if you work 40 hours a week, so you work 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday times 5, that is 40 hours a week. So 40 hours a week in a month, because 40 times 4 is 160 hours. So that becomes your hourly rate. Are we together? Okay, we're together. Okay, what do you feel about your hourly rate now? Anybody jumping for joy at their hourly rate? Yeah? And we look at it and we may think, oh my goodness, I've never realized this is what I earn per hour. You may be thinking it's so little, but this is what I want you to think about. How quickly it takes you an hour, 1 full hour, 60 minutes. 60 minutes of the time God has given you on this earth. How long does it take you to spend it? How long does it take you to spend that amount of money? Okay? So our fundamental problem, when we are spending more than we earn, we also don't realizing we're spending money faster than we are earning it. So that's the relationship between time and money. In fact, you're complaining about being broke as you spend it. Okay? So again, I'm giving you these power moves because these are CEO moves now. This is how you have to think as a CEO of your money. Yeah? So the next point is you have to start working backwards. Yeah? Start working backwards with money. That's why I'm telling you, drill down backwards to 300 bob. Drill down backwards to what you spend per hour, how much you make per hour, what you spend per hour, because that's what has to be increased. Because we have to also go and think about, if I want this in the next 5 years, if I want this in the next 10 years, and we do financial planning in this class so that you can work backwards. If that's the amount it will take for me to be financially free, that's the amount it will take for me to have school fees and college fees. What does it take today to start putting aside? Is it that 7,500 shillings a day? Yeah. What does it take today? Because it's not just about saving, budgeting, etc. When you understand what it takes today, we then have to say, apart from being prudent in what I spend, and in what I spend, we really try to get you, remove what you don't value, so you can leave space for what you value. But the magic in wealth creation is getting your mind, because a CEO has to think forward. There is no CEO in this country who's not thinking about taking his or her business forward, who is not thinking about how their profits can go up. Yeah. So how do your profits go up? Yeah. You are the CEO. Remember, how do your profits go up? So create multiple income streams. In other words, let's plan to earn more money. Till today, I think I now do it very naturally because I'm an entrepreneur. I think that way about money. But everybody has to have an entrepreneurial mindset with their money. If today that is what I'm earning, 15,625 per hour, how do I make sure by next year it's 30,000? By the year after, it's 70,000. What do I do? Remember I told you, you are where you are because you have chosen to be. Well, imagine you can choose something different. So it means, okay, at work, I want to justify earning this kind of salary. What do I do? Employers don't just pay you more because you want. They don't even pay you more because of inflation. They pay you more because of value. Yeah, so that when you go to a discussion with them, you can say, put your value on the table. If you're in business, how do you make your business pay you more? Yes, I said pay you more. If you're in business, your business should be paying you. Yeah, so how do you make it pay you more? Yeah, how do you earn that bonus? You know, bonuses are paid at work. How do you earn that bonus? You can't go there blind and negotiate on a bonus that you have not proved you have value. So now you're making your money work for you. Now your money is becoming an employee of you, rather than just somebody who lives in your house and you guys don't know what to do with each other. Yeah. So that is what we try and do. And I'm just gonna do a shout out to women. Yeah, a shout out to women, because I do a lot of talks about women and money. And all I'll tell women, and I think during the classes, we'll get some point to talk, have certain conversations as men, have certain conversations as women. Because at the end of the day, they are still, and I loved what Lisa said about money dates, yeah? It is fantastic to have that, yeah? But for women today, I want to tell you, be careful of the cultural hype around what you can or cannot do. We've been nurturers, we've been caregivers, and we've played so many roles for so long that sometimes we don't take care of ourselves. And it's also costing us financially, and we don't speak up for ourselves and our needs. So what you're finding, a lot of women are being left, they work, they take care of their families, but then they have nothing. Or there's a divorce, there's a separation, there's a death, and they find out they actually have nothing. So women, it is not selfish to do these financial calculations and find out what will actually work for you. Because for women and everybody, financial agency comes from the ability to make decisions that secure your own financial future. So do not accept poverty because of other people's egos or other people's beliefs. Yeah, and I have to say that because of the amount of work we do with women. So please, I hope I'll see you in Centonomy. Let me leave you understanding, first of all, what I believe wealth is. Wealth is knowing what you want. Wealth is giving yourself permission to want what you want. If you want that school for your kids, want it. If you want that holiday, want it. If you want that house, want it. If you want those goals, want it. But please make sure that want is coming from a place of it's you who wants it, rather than you've been told by society you must have it. So take some time of self-reflection and question that. It's about knowledge and equipping yourselves with the tools that are available so that you can actually plan and create a strategy around getting what you want. And that's what Centonomy does for you. And then freedom to go through the journey, the highs and the lows of the money journey, because ultimately it will always get you in a better place. And again, why do we do this? We are trying to raise the wealth consciousness of Africa. We want people to be wealthy. We want the continent to be wealthy. We want individuals to be wealthy. So I'm inviting you to come and join Centonomy, not to join a program, but to join a group of believers, to join a movement, and to join an ecosystem that is actually going to support you in this journey. Ladies and gentlemen, I think my time is up. I look forward to seeing you, and thank you so much for your attention on this Saturday afternoon.
Waceke, well done. Put your hands together for Waceke. She has done such a great job. Sheila is saying, you have fun, Waceke. Sheila is saying, you're an amazing teacher. I listened to you at BNI convention in Nairobi in 2024. So people have been following for years and are still coming along the way.
Thank you.
Calvin has asked in the chat box, in the Q&A, Calvin has asked, which investment is better to cater for my bills like rent, water, and electricity? What would you advise, Calvin?
Okay, Calvin, that is such an important question, because I think we have to really understand what an investment is versus what the money to pay your bills is. Okay, so if it's today you're paying rent, today you're paying bills, etc. It's not really going to come from an investment. It's going to come from possibly you're paid an income, you put it in a current account, and from there you pay bills. Investments, so goals are not survival. Yeah, that is just what you have to do to survive. But there are goals that you're going to have, Calvin, that are not about today. So the money for you earn today will be used for the expenses today. But what we are saying, up from that money, don't use everything for rent and bills. Please start putting your money aside. What might you want to do in the future? You might want to own a home. You might want to travel. You might now want other investments that along the way, Calvin, if you leave your job and you need money to continue paying rent and bills, you have an investment that generates that income to pay the bills. So that is the investment. Today's money that you're using for today's needs are actually not the investment. It's just money you're using for survival. So it's not really an investment you're going to put it in, because you can't put it in something that will lock it, but you need the money for rent today. Imagine if you went and bought shares or land with that money, but your landlord is waiting for rent today. So let the landlord's money for today stay. But what you want in 5 years or 10 years, and say, even if I don't have this job, will I still have money for rent? That will come from an investment, which you're now going to put money aside from to build that investment. And as Waithaka said it so well, the best investment is the one that meets your goals. So Calvin, when you come to class, you'll be like, okay, these are my goals. Yeah. Which investment makes sense? Yeah.
Waceke, I told you have many fans. Edith is saying, you look amazing. You look young. So
yeah.
how have you built up? You look like this, and you've built a business for 16 years, other ones for even longer. Thank you for the kind words, Sheila.
Thank you very much. Every woman, that is what we like to hear. So thank you very much.
So I think this one I can help, but you can also add to it. Hope is asking, what would you recommend? Zeno as an investment space for small income earners in Uganda? So Zeno has multiple funds in it. So they have a money market fund, they have a bonds fund, they have a domestic equity fund, which is what's in Uganda, and then they have a regional equity fund, which brings around all the different countries in East Africa. So the benefit of funds, and you're going to learn about this, let me just put it here on the screen so that you understand the context in the Centonomy 101 program. When you come into the class, you can see module 5. You'll be with fund managers who will explain how funds work. So as Waceke just said, the best investment is the one that matches your goal, right? It meets your goal. You want to make sure that you're selecting the right investment for the outcome that you want. So if you're trying to save, you're looking towards the money market fund. If you're trying to grow over time, then you're looking towards the equity fund. So funds are not the same. So hope when you say Zeno has multiple funds in it, and you will select the right investment to match your goal out of what they have as one of the offering in the session. Sheke, would you like to add anything to that response?
Yeah, I think you've covered it. Okay. And I think the benefit with funds, let's say the equity fund, let me just give an example of the equity. What a fund is actually doing is, you see, if you are to go to the stock market yourself, you would have to understand each and every stock, track the movements on a daily basis. Most of you have other jobs, there are other things you're doing. I've worked in the stock market and it is a time-consuming activity. But your goals may need exposure to shares. They may need exposure to equities. So what you're saying, it's like a investment club you're joining together with other people who all are interested in investing in shares. Now, these shares are given to professional fund managers, people who now are doing the work for you of tracking the stock market every day. Because a lot of people are scared of the stock market, for example, because they can't understand all those shares. Yes, you can't, yeah? But someone is doing it for you. But your goal, it made sense for your goals to be exposed to shares, to be exposed to equities. So this fund takes away that headache for you. They will obviously charge a small fee for doing that, but that is the benefit of a fund. Professionals manage for you. But as the CEO, again, let me make this very clear. The people who, remember the fund managers and any people who are in the investment industry, if I was employed by Zeno to sell the equity fund, I'm a human being, yeah? Don't judge me. My incentive is to get as many people in the fund. And most of these guys are actually paid for commission. So don't expect that the person selling you the product is going to give you the best advice, yeah? It is your job as the CEO to have decided and to have known why shares work for you. And that's why you come to Centonomy. Then you can go to Zeno or we had Godfrey from Old Mutual or other fund managers and assess them and see, these are the people I'm comfortable with, but I trust that they'll manage my money properly. But the decision to be in shares, I have to tell you guys, is your responsibility. Which share, is it KCB versus this versus that, can be somebody else's responsibility, yeah.
And it really links into what we talk about in the classes where we say the idea of setting your personal goals and then focusing on that, because everyone has a plan for your money. Asking, can I build wealth without going into debt or loans? I really don't like the pressure that comes with it. Even when I'm prepared, I don't like, can I?
Let me tell you the goodness with having taught for 16 years, and Centonomy started with conversations, is have we seen people build wealth without debt? Absolutely. Yeah. So you can. Yeah. Have we seen people build wealth with debt? Absolutely. Yeah. So I think now you get to decide which route you want to take. I think many people are scared of debt because of the horror stories around debt. What is your job is to understand how debt works, yeah? And to say, if I'm building wealth, for example, if I'm doing an investment with debt, at least in Centonomy, you'll get to learn, okay, so this is what the debt will cost me. Is my investment making more money than what the debt costs me? Then we have entered what we call good debt territory. But if I'm going to make less, then we've entered bad debt territory. So I wouldn't say be scared of debt. I would say be intelligent with debt and come and learn to be intelligent. then make your decision. There are some ventures that had people not taken loans, they would never have. They would have taken 30 years to get where 5 years took them. Yeah. So come and make your decisions. But what I think the challenge is not the debt, it's the fear of debt. And the fear of debt usually comes with not understanding debt and not understanding how it can work for you. So come and learn to do that with Centonomy. Yeah.
Waceke, we seem to have a few young people. Can we say hi to all the Gen Zs in the house? These are people who are saying,
Gen Zs.
we are young in university without income. How do I become an investor and also save and make wealth? What advice would you give? How do I get started?
Let me talk back to my 20-year-old self. Yeah.
Sheke, weren't you working in uni? Didn't you already have a job?
Oh, that's what I was going to. Yeah. What is in uni is to start testing what can we, and we've got some things coming up for young people probably at the beginning of next year. But so please keep logged on to Centonomy and keep watching out for this space. But if you, first of all, just know it is such an advantage to be young and to be in a forum like this. What I didn't get when I was that age, is forums like this that were actually talking about money. So we're guessing our way. So make money, sell sandwiches. What business can you start? What needs have you identified around you that a service you can provide that maybe you don't need money to get started with? And I think the very fact that you're here and becoming aware about money, something will start happening. Yeah. Can somebody sponsor you for this program? Talk to us. Like, just start looking around you and saying, what can I do today? And don't worry about big amounts to make 7,500 shillings. If you make 7,500 shillings, then you'll know how to make 75,000 shillings. Yeah. What can you do? What do you have in your hand? What are those skills you can actually do to make money? I don't know if Waithaka, you want to add anything.
Look, first of all, that they are in this meeting is so exciting for me. That you made a choice as a young person to say, how do I get better? It's amazing. So well done. I'm giving you applause for that. That you're not just sitting on a Saturday doing what everyone else is doing. You are in this room. So you're in the right mindset.
Absolutely.
But here's one of the things about being young that I love. It is a season of adventure. You see, unlike us who have children, parents, responsibilities, you can try, go out. Waceke and I both have that history of when we were in university, we were already working. You would get a job, try out, and even if it's not a paying job, what it's doing is building experience. It's giving you an opportunity to learn and to grow. By the time you get out of university, you have a degree and experience at the same time. So that's really powerful. Start thinking about, what could I do to sell as a business? What could I do? Could I sell my time, my skills? Could I sell products or services? Here's the thing. If you sit down and say, this is the problem I want to solve, you'll come up with ideas. One of the benefits of being in a class like this, and we challenge you in module 1 about this, is you begin to identify what we call non-financial assets. If you can speak, use your voice. If you can be able to do maths, hey, support businesses. Many business owners would just love somebody to help them to do their books. There are various things that are available in your environment that will help you grow if you only take advantage. Waceke, do you have some closing words before I tell people to join the class?
I can just add that to that young conversation. I want people to, because they may look at us now and then be like, oh, but I don't have a good sounding job. I just want to give you an example of what I did to make money. So you don't think I'm talking, I washed dishes. Yeah, I washed dishes. Okay.
Yes.
I joined a dance troupe and sometimes we'd be paid to go to do gigs. So I dance. Sometimes I entered pool. I was good in pool then. I entered some pool competitions where I'd earn a little bit of money. So don't be fussy. Then at some point, when I started the business, I started writing articles and I'd be paid a little bit of money. So don't look down on the ability to earn small amounts of money. And as Waithaka said, you don't have responsibilities of kids, etc. So you can do, as long as it is legal and ethical, you can do anything. And in line with your values, you can actually do anything. And I'd also say, sometimes go to companies and offer your services not to be paid. The experience is worth more than whether they are paying you today or not. Whether it's a church, whether it's your school, something in your community, a primary school near your area, get that CV loaded with something. That is what you need to do as you learn. Parting shots to everybody is that wealth is not created in disorder. Yeah. And it needs an orderly mind. Yeah. And an orderly way of actually thinking about it. So it's just about getting orderly with your money. And wealth is what works when you're not working. Everything else is just noise. Wealth is what works when you're not working. So welcome to Centonomy, and thank you so much for availing your time today. We hope to see you in the class.
Yeah. Come on, guys, put your hands together for Waceke and Nduati. She's done such an amazing job. 16 years in business is not easy. I'm speaking to Andrew here. And Andrew is saying, can a business, well, I guess it can't be Andrew, but maybe Andrew is in the name, because can a businesswoman, you see that question, I didn't understand how that,
Yeah.
Can a businesswoman like me who doesn't choose the employment path, can we grow wealth? And how, since sometimes business is on and off, you know, the highs and lows of business. And I want to encourage this person, even in the class, we have a bonus class on money in business. So we are able to assist you to understand how does money work so that you can build wealth. And the reminder to everyone who's in business, the wealthiest people in the world are entrepreneurs. So yes, you can build wealth. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted, if you don't mind, she's been part of the whole system and getting us on board here. Daisy Sunshine, did you want to say hi? I know so many people have come because of the work that you've done. Daisy, did you want to say hi to the folks? I've given you an opportunity as we close.
Yes, I can say hello. This has been an amazing class, and every time I sit in the Centonomy classes, I am left amazed. I was just typing in the chat that being in the class, this last cohort, has helped me open my businesses. I opened 2 businesses without fear of failure, because Waithaka was literally shouting at us, you have to increase your sources of income. What do you have that can earn you money now? So it has changed my mindset. I don't fear money anymore. I used to fear money conversations, and it's something that I shared at the previous open day. I used to fear money conversations, but now I don't shy away from them. I'm not afraid to ask questions, and I'm thinking outside the box. And even from this class, I have learned so much. I wish I was 20 again. All the Gen Zs in the house, well done.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Yeah. So thank you, Waceke. Thank you, Waithaka. This is amazing. Guys, please join the class. Don't even think about it. Yeah.
So I hope you have gained, thank you so much, Daisy, give her a hand. I hope you have gained some financial power moves that are going to get you to your goal. One more time, the class runs for 1 class per week for 12 weeks, starting on the 23rd of September, 2025. Today, you've gotten 15,000 discount on registration, so take advantage of that. It's only 30,000. Yes, you get a certificate at the end of the program. So this is perfect for adding towards your LinkedIn profile as well. You will pay the rest of the fees in installments, so you don't have to pay it all at once. So 30,000 to register, and then you come into the class. Month 1, 510,000. Month 2, 510,000, and then it even reduces in month 3 to 425. You can pay via Momo Pay. So if you're doing that, it's 30,000 to that number plus 256 762 329 170. And then you'll see the name there, Malvin. So you can write that down even as we go. You can also pay through the bank details. Take a quick screenshot of that and you can follow up on that as well. Everything that we have gone through today will be on YouTube. So if there's something that you want to review, go through again, come back, please please go to the YouTube channel. To all of you who are saying, I wish this could happen again, share the link for that YouTube video with your friends and relatives you think can benefit from this. So please, please, please do come. Yes, you can pay the registration now and then the tuition before the 23rd. You're welcome to do that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, as a starting point, you can also begin to look for the book by Waceke and Nduati. It is called Making Sense. It's available at Aristoc Booklets Limited, Acacia Mall in Garden City, Kampala. Please do go pick that up. It's an amazing book that you can be able to start your wealth creation journey towards. A big, big, big thank you to CPA Charity Kentaro, who's done a major, amazing job for us in sharing her experiences and her growth. A big shout out and a thank you to Godfrey Bukomeko, who's also done an amazing job sharing from his experiences. Did you notice that even as a portfolio manager at Old Mutual, he was telling about his savings plan, about his investments, about his debt? We are all human beings and we're growing from there. A huge thank you to Lisa Kusima as well for the work that she's done for us. And last but not least, a huge thank you to Waceke and Nduati. Ladies and gentlemen, the transformation happens in the class. Centonomy 101 Uganda is live. This will be our third intake this year. There are already hundreds of Ugandans who have taken this journey and they continue to grow. If you want to hear more of those stories, do check out our YouTube channel as well, where you get to know so much more. It has been a pleasure to host you. Have a wonderful weekend and see you in class. That's where the transformation happens. Goodbye and God bless you all.